Next up on the broadcast, Governor Kay Ivey is back in studio with us. Governor, welcome back to Capital Journal.
Good morning, Don. Glad to be with you and appreciate being on Capital Journal.
Always nice to have you here. Governor, let's start with the controversy over the proposed toll for the Mobile Bridge and Bayway project. It seems to have dominated the headlines for weeks now, has been overshadowing a lot of news. Paying for the project is the devil in the details, so to speak. You're a big proponent of this project, and you said you're open to alternatives to paying for it besides a toll.
Certainly. This is a major critical part of infrastructure that will benefit the entire state as well as the region. This project is just essential to keep our commerce growing and provide more public safety and efficiency. This project needs to move forward, and if we can find a way to pay for it other than using tolls, so be it. I'd be glad to do that. But that's the reason we're having this October 7th listening session to hear from proponents about, everybody agrees we need a bridge, but how do we pay for it? And that's always been a challenge.
This listening session you refer to in October is a meeting of the Toll Authority, which rarely meets, but you felt, obviously, in light of the controversy over this matter, you were going to call a meeting. Tell us a little about this group and why it meets so rarely.
Well, we don't have toll roads and bridges often. The only ones we do have are on private property. But this is just an essential need to protect our people. The Bayway was built for traffic of 35,000. Today we've got 75,000 and projected to have 100,000 sooner than later. And so the Bayway needs to be expanded to 4 lanes each way. It's presently at 2 lanes. And so if you're going to expand the Bayway, you've got to widen the bridge, and you can't widen the bridge unless you raise it. And the current structure can't be raised, so that's the reason the cost went up from $850 million to 2.1.
The makeup of the toll authority, you make appointments to this authority, do you not? And it's made up of lawmakers and other interested parties?
Well, it's I think the Speaker of the House and
the Lieutenant Governor, I believe, is on the authority. Is that right?
I think he is, and also the Chief of Staff and Deputy Chief of Staff,
right,
and the Finance Director. Everybody agrees we need the bridge, but how do we pay for it? That's the issue. The consequences of not doing anything is just entirely too high. Status quo is not an option. So I'm hoping we can find something that pleases everybody, but that's hard to do too. But I'm willing to be open and give it a fair hearing. But this project is very essential to the well-being and the growth of our commerce in this state, much less public safety and efficiency. So this is a project that's got to move forward.
This October 7th meeting of the Toll Authority will be held here in Montgomery. I know there have been some calls down in South Alabama for you to move the meeting down there. You're keeping it here despite some of those.
At the Capitol Auditorium on October 7, 1:30. This is a statewide project. It's going to benefit the entire state. And so people from all over the state that are legislators or constitutional officers or congressional folks need to come to a state location. And we've heard all the locals express their concerns, but we hadn't had any solutions out of the local folks. And this is an opportunity for all stakeholders to come together and offer some reasonable solutions.
You said this is a statewide project. You know, the question has been asked often during this debate, do people in other parts of the state care about this South Alabama project?
We've got advanced manufacturing in North Alabama, aerospace in North Alabama, and agriculture in North Alabama, as well as South Alabama. This is indeed a project that will benefit the entire state in our commerce and public safety efforts.
The toll, the proposed toll by the State Department of Transportation, $6 one way. Many consider that too high for people who use this bridge every day to get to and from work or school or whatever. But there are other alternatives.
No, that's part of the misinformation. The people that use it on a regular basis to and from work is proposed at $2.25 each way. Mm-hmm. That's not $6.
That's part of the $90 monthly pass option that's been put on the table, right?
But there's a pathway at $2.25 one way for folks who use it regularly. And then the other tolls are for people who use it less regularly or a portion of the bridge, not the entire bridge.
You mentioned misinformation. I think you've said during this debate that there was a lot of intentional misinformation going around about this project.
Well, we've got a lot of folks running for office for some position. And there is a lot of noise in the system, and we need solutions, not just noise.
In the last couple of weeks, several officials have come out in opposition to the toll plan. The lieutenant governor, for instance, the state auditor has long been an opponent of this plan. We've heard from Senator Del Marsh, Congressman Bradley Byrne, Mo Brooks, among others, expressing concerns about the toll. But I hear you saying, well, let's come to the table with other proposals to fund this.
Certainly.
Because the bottom line is federal funding has not come through for this project like you would have liked, right? And that to get this going, we're going to have the toll or some facsimile thereof, right?
Well, we've got a congressional delegation. I'm hoping that they can weigh in as well and give us some light at the end of the tunnel. But we've just got to find a way to pay for the bridge. And I'm looking for solutions, not just concerns.
You think this meeting in October of the Toll Authority will come forth with some kind of concrete alternatives?
I'm very optimistic.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Governor, what about the design parameters of this project? It's a $2 billion project to build a new bridge over the Mobile River and Bayway. The design parameters have been pointed to as doubling the cost of this. How do you feel about that? Is there something we could do to look at that maybe?
Well, certainly. We can look at anything that can be recommended that's reasonable in the design engineering. In fact, there was a meeting with engineers, not LDOT engineers, but engineers to meet with a delegation from Mobile and Baldwin County to help clarify some of the design concerns that have to be met. And lay people just are not familiar with engineering or what's required to build, especially over a river, and one that with the deep widening of the port, it's going to be some large vessels coming in, which again promotes commerce even from North Alabama.
The Toll Authority meeting on October the 7th will probably be a packed house, don't you think? And you hope it might be.
I want some solid, good ideas of how we can pay for this bridge. That's the bottom line. We don't need to know your concerns. We need to know some proposed solutions that are reasonable and can be implemented. And even after the meeting, we'll have to study those and verify, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a good opportunity, and everybody's got plenty of time to get prepared with the facts. Let's deal with the facts and not innuendos or whatever. Let's deal with the facts of how to make this project viable and passable and doable, because Alabama's future rests on getting this done so we can improve our commerce.
Is it your intention, Governor, that this project move forward one way or the other?
Definitely.
Yeah. Tolls may or may not end up being part of the equation, but they might have to be, right?
That's possible. Yeah. But I hope we can find a way to have no tolls.
What about those who have said, why not let proceeds from the gas tax, which takes effect on September 1st, help fund this project? Could they do that? Would they generate it? Would the tax generate enough to help make a dent in the price tag of this project?
When the gas tax is fully implemented, we'll get in about $320 million annually. And those funds are designed for local, county, and statewide projects. They're not designed for all that money to go into one project. So the answer is no. The gas tax can't be used for this project.
But it can be used